wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that I wanna go and I wanna know? Do you wanna follow?
Hello, and welcome to the very first episode of the Worldee podcast. My name is Connor Hoare, and I am the founder of the Worldee app. And today I am joined by our co-founder and also my partner, Daisy Flood.
Hello.
So just to introduce the show, basically we're going to be running a weekly podcast to inspire travel around the world. We own a travel app, and travel's changed our lives in such a dramatic way. And I know the same thing has happened to many other travellers out there. So we are going to be sharing stories from travellers who have gone on to do something very inspiring as a result of travel. We just share those stories with the listeners to this show, and hopefully get people travelling more and seeing if travel can really change their lives in the same way that it changed ours and for lots of other people out there. As I already mentioned, our first guest is actually going to be our very own co-founder, Daisy. So we're probably just going to talk about how obviously travel changed our lives and how travel is integrated in your life in such a huge way. Because Daisy, as well as being the co-founder and marketing officer for Worldee, she also is the marketing executive for
Forceberry.
Yeah. Okay. And travel is such a huge part of her life. So we'll get into that a bit later in the show. And some other guests that we've got coming on the show. We've also got other app owners. We've got authors, social media influencers, all the way through to people who have just basically moved to a different country because of travel. And we're going to share those stories with you over the coming weeks. And hopefully once the world gets back to normal, as we are in quarantine and lockdown at the moment in the UK, people can go out travelling and change their lives for the better. So the first question to you, Daisy, is how did travel change your life?
So from a young age, I've always travelled. My dad always took me on holiday at least once a year. And I just loved the idea of going to a new country, seeing something new every day, discovering different things, learning about their history, getting some great knowledge on each country we visited, and just travel's always been embedded in me. I'm sort of the type of people that gets itchy feet, so this is my worst nightmare at the moment, being stuck and not being able to go anywhere. I'd say currently I travel at least once a month to a different country. That's not only just personal, but it's also part of my job.
So what's the last trip you went on?
So the last place I went to was actually Boston.
Yeah.
In the US.
Any good?
Yeah, it was great. It was freezing. It was in February. We had quite a lot of rain, but it was quite abnormal for the time of year we went, as it was sunny and cold, which was nice. But it's such a nice city. They've got some amazing seafood, and everything's just really, everywhere's so friendly. All the people are so nice there. It was a really nice town.
So last year you travelled more than 12 times, surely?
Yeah, I've got to be.
Yeah.
What
was so can you just kind of walk through what your kind of day would look like on an average trip for you?
So I suppose it's worth talking about two types of trips, because obviously one's always a work trip and then one's a personal vacation. So typically if I was going on a work trip, we always start quite early, and then we would go and do lots of retail. So I'd have to look for different shops and see what was in that area. And then we'd normally always go for a nice lunch. We always have to entertain our clients and hope they're really enjoying our company and make the experience worthwhile. So we always like to look for somewhere really good to eat. And then in the afternoon, we'll normally have meetings, which will go on quite late. And then after that is normally when we've got a little bit of spare time to make the most of the city we're in. So we can go and look at an attraction, and then maybe stop off at a bar before having our work dinner. So that would be a work trip, sort of 9 till 5, sometimes earlier, which is.
And then what
intense.
about like kind of like when we go away, as like in
Yeah.
terms of me and you, a typical day is very different.
So yeah, our typical day is normally ends up late morning because Connor loves to sleep. So we miss out quite a lot of our morning, which is annoying to me because I'm an early bird. But you know, if you're on holiday,
You're normally hungover anyway, though.
yeah, well, you know. So we'll get up a bit later, go for breakfast. Normally we look for a hotel that has breakfast included, right? So we don't waste much time in the morning looking for somewhere to eat.
To be fair, I normally miss that though.
Yeah, Connor normally misses that, but
You don't.
know, I don't. And then we'll get ready and go to our first attraction in the morning. This is predominantly if we're in a city, so I'm just speaking of Barcelona,
like
for example, like a city break. We'll go and see somewhere that we've had on our wish list, and then we'll visit that, and then we'll normally have to stop for food again because Connor loves eating as well as sleeping. So we'll have to go for something to eat, and then we'll go to another attraction, which will probably stay at till quite late, and then we'll go to maybe a bar for a drink before going back to get ready for dinner.
Yeah, and then after dinner, going out for drinks again.
After dinner, we'll go out for drinks again. Yeah, and like get to see the city at night, which is always quite nice because it's nice to see cities from a day point of view and a night point of view because it can actually be very different.
Yeah.
So,
Different
yeah.
vibes, isn't there? So obviously, I've already mentioned that travel changed our lives. I probably should talk about travel in my life. So again, was normally taken on holiday roughly every year by my parents. Used to be going to quite a lot of resorts though. It wasn't cultural holidays, I would say. I would normally end up in hotels which were full of 50, 60 English people where they all get drunk, and because that's basically what my family does. And so I was kind of brought up around that, and then obviously by the time we got together is when we started to go on more cultured trips, I'd say. With the first one obviously being Cuba, even though we were still in a resort at the time. We was young, weren't we?
Yeah.
That was probably the first cultural holiday I went on because of how we experienced kind of how they lived their lives, like by the things that we went to see during the days and stuff. And then obviously going like Rome, Barcelona, and then stuff like that as we move further down the line. So that then takes me on to Rome, where travel really, really changed my life and obviously changed yours too. As that was obviously where we came up for the idea for Worldee app. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so we like to, as I said, like travel for me was about looking at different culture and things that you couldn't see day to day. So, and then that was what Connor enjoyed as well. So he sort of wanted to get up and go, and we're not like the sit down and drink and eat all day kind of people. So we went there and we ended up walking around the streets and looking at the shops because fashion is not only my hobby but it's my career too, so I love shopping. So we had a little look around the shops, and then we came across what was unknown to us at the time, the Spanish Steps. So we were just having a little look around and noticed that everyone was sat on the steps or taking photos of it. But we just didn't know what it was, and we couldn't find out anywhere it was or there was no signage anywhere, no plaques. And it actually wasn't until we got home that we even knew what it was, which is crazy.
Yeah. I thought you was actually going to tell a story about the Gucci trousers then, as you
No, not the trousers.
Yeah, so it wasn't until I actually got home, my friend said to me, did you go see the Spanish Steps? And that was kind of the moment we went, oh, that's what they were.
That's what they were, yeah.
Yeah. But it was then, like, even at the time we were saying, it was annoying us that we couldn't really find the information that we wanted to. And that was in general in Rome.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't just attractions, it was like finding authentic restaurants and authentic bars to visit, which we found really difficult.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the people in Rome, they would say get lost in Rome, but if you're telling a foreigner to get lost in a city, it's not actually something you really want to do.
Yeah.
Because what if you can't find your way back home, right? So when people were saying that to us, we was like, not really sure. So we stuck to touristy places for first 2 days probably, and it was only the last day that we really, I would say, got to experience Rome. But it was such a frustrating trip because like I feel like if we went back now, actually having the app available to us, that it would be such a better time for us. But at the time with the Spanish Steps and everything, when we obviously didn't know what they were, we were just like, it'd be good to point your camera at it and find out what it was, kind of thing, throw away comments. And then obviously as we got home, it kind of developed further and further from there until we actually decided to create a mobile app which allowed you to aim your camera at attractions or in the direction of bars and restaurants and just have it find anything that was close to you rather than just showing the popular places, and just really making it easier for you to kind of search or find things on your trip.
Yeah. And the difference was, like, with Google, we couldn't Google what the Spanish Steps were because we didn't know what to put in it.
Yeah.
We couldn't Google just find us steps in Rome. It just came up with images of steps, which was really frustrating. And again, with the whole restaurant thing, we were looking for authentic places to have a true Italian experience, and it would just show the most rated or the people that have spent most on ads, basically.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't give you the true authentic places.
Basically coming up with the Hard Rock Cafe, which we have in London.
Yeah.
Which is why, like, as I said, it was such a frustrating time because we was going into places like that which were massively overcrowded, and obviously, as you've said before, like, they had like five-page menu offerings, which is we just didn't want that.
No.
But I actually felt like because of that bad experience, it obviously led us on to creating a travel app, which was going to be obviously so huge in the way we then travelled moving forward, and obviously the way we travel now and stuff like that, which was really great, and being able to obviously help people who were similar to us at the time, which is obviously what we're doing now, it was just brilliant. So so there was a huge experience to be taken away from that, and actually the way that travel changed our lives is because we obviously went to create on a mobile app and a business based around something that we found quite painful at the time. So then obviously we had that, I'd say, like, horror experience in Rome, but then we kind of moved out to that and then went to Barcelona next, where I think it's probably the best city I've been to.
Yeah.
In terms of traveling, I just found it amazing. So how did the experience from Rome make for a better experience in Barcelona for you?
Well, obviously we did actually have the app, which was really helpful. And one of the days we decided to just have a little look at the app, and while we were in our hotel room, just to see what was close to our hotel, because a lot of the places we would have to get the metro to, which we didn't mind because it's very cheap and the public travel is easy in Barcelona. But
that's a slight tip, just interrupt. For Barcelona, if you're going, actually use the metro. Don't get taxis.
It is so easy and it is so much cheaper.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were just sort of having a little look around, which was near our hotel, and then we found the art museum, which was we were like, instantly attracted to it because the picture was so beautiful, and it just looked amazing. So, and we saw that it was about a 2-3 minute walk away from our hotel. So we decided to go there, and that ended up being probably one of our favourite places.
Favourite places, even though it wasn't open.
Even though it wasn't open, yeah, just because it was so nice, and they had their little cafe at the top, and the views overlooked the whole of Barcelona city, which was beautiful.
Yeah.
And that was so good. And I think everywhere we found in Barcelona, all of the restaurants were so authentic, and we didn't go to one place that I probably thought this is a bit touristy. We managed to find some amazing, like, quirky little attractions as well, like Park Güell and the Gaudi House. That was amazing. Yeah, it was just a bit more authentic, I feel.
Yeah, I feel that we actually got to
see the city,
fully experience Barcelona.
Yeah.
And then obviously because I obviously went and watched Messi play football.
Yeah, we went to the game. Even then, we went to we had a little look on the app just to see if there was any bars nearby, and it was like being part of. Yeah,
it was like we was in a proper Barcelona fan club, wasn't it?
Yeah,
so it was mental. Yeah, I completely agree. To be honest, like it was lucky that we had the app on that occasion. I think, because even with the art gallery, which I would say is the most memorable experience, because if you ever get the chance to go to Barcelona, whoever's listening, if you go to the art gallery, it is the most like experiential walk you'll ever go on to the top.
Yeah.
It'll take you about 10 minutes to actually get from the bottom of the road to the top of the road. And it's uphill and steps, but it's just designed in such a way that it's just like you see something new every like 2 minutes kind of thing from a different perspective. And it's something that I would recommend anyone going to Barcelona. You have to go there.
Yeah.
I want to go back because I want to do that walk again, but I actually want to go inside. Yeah, but once you get to the top, as Daisy said, you see these the view of the whole of Barcelona, and you look over it. It's just absolutely unbelievable. Yeah, and then again, as we said, with like authentic experiences and stuff like that in Barcelona, we went to a number of bars, didn't we? That we just thought, oh, that's just round the corner, and even when we went to was it the Sagrada Familia? Yeah. Even when we went to there, we was like, oh, where's the bars? And we could just literally just pull up our phone, aim the camera, and was like, oh, okay, the bars are over there.
Yeah.
And then that's how kind of quick we were kind of then navigating, rather than spending an hour or two looking for somewhere to go and drink, basically.
Yeah. And it made you feel a bit safer, because I feel like when you go somewhere new, it's always nice to get your bearings, and then you know where, oh, this is where the bars are, these are where the restaurants are, and you automatically know if you're in that area there's a lot of people there, so you're going to feel a bit safer if you worry a lot like me. So
which is a complete
really
contrast to when we went to Cuba.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Because obviously,
I mean, in Cuba you can't really go out of the resort anyway unless you're on a trip, because it's quite dangerous if you're just on the streets. But we did a couple of excursions, and they both included going out of the hotel, where we couldn't really get out our phone because you felt a bit worried and nervous that you were going to get mugged.
Yeah, I had a backpack on and I got followed.
Yeah.
Cuba's a lovely place though, by the way.
Yeah, it's so nice, so cultural, but definitely
don't try your best not to look like a tourist.
Yeah, definitely don't look like a tourist there.
Yeah. So because obviously we can't travel at the moment, what would you recommend people do for the time being?
Plan and replan your trips. I know that a lot of people have probably had their trips cancelled, but it's easier to say, but don't feel disheartened that you'll never get to go. And I would definitely not put that aside as, oh, we're not going there. I would replan it straight away, rebook it, and get to go. That's a bit like us. We were supposed to go to Paris next month, which looks unlikely. But instead of just putting it aside as like, oh, we're not going to go, we're going to rebook it straight away to go in the new year. So yeah, I'd definitely rebook that. And also, this is the perfect time. You've got all this time on your hands to plan up and coming trips. research all those places that you've always wanted to go, really look in depth, look at different restaurants in them places, what attractions you can find, like really make the most of your time, because planning a trip, I feel like it is quite exciting. It shouldn't feel like a chore, and it definitely should take up a lot of time if you're going to research a proper good trip and find places that you probably never even knew existed.
Yeah, that's what, like, finding those places that you didn't know were there is always, I feel that they're always the best ones. Even if, to be fair, for example, even in the last day of Rome when we went and actually, well, we somehow ended up in that party where no one spoke English.
Yeah.
Yeah, like even then we stumbled across I don't even know how to describe it. It was like a shop.
Yeah, it was like a shop/bar.
Yeah, so strange.
Yeah,
it was really good, wasn't it? And like we were obviously invited in by the Italian people, and they were welcoming, and they let us into their party.
Yeah.
And it was really good, wasn't it? My advice to people, obviously, on cancelled trips and stuff like that would be to check if you can kind of reschedule the trip with the airline or whoever you booked through, and then obviously rebook it for a date that you can do, and just try and get, as Daisy said, everything kind of planned and sorted out ahead of time, so when you do get to the place you're not wasting time, because that's a big common theme that we see with a lot of travellers and a lot of people go on holidays, that they generally waste a lot of their time. And if you're going on a city break, which is usually 3 days long, you really don't want to be wasting any time.
No.
Because you're there for such a short period. You need as much as you can get. Obviously with coronavirus and stuff like that, I don't know how long the travel restrictions and stuff are going to last, but as soon as like lockdown's lifted, people can obviously start to travel within the UK. So where would you want to go in the UK?
At the moment, I'd love to go to Cornwall. I've been once in my life, a couple of times, and it is just so beautiful. You actually feel like you're on holiday. And the beaches are amazing. And I haven't really ever been and done it properly, so I'd really like to go down there. I think that would be nice, especially in the summer.
Yeah. I think I'd like to go back to Manchester. That was good.
Yeah.
That's really cool, Manchester, I thought.
Yeah, Manchester's a cool city.
Maybe London again.
Maybe I'm there like nearly every day, so I'm not missing it that much.
Yeah,
I think I'm missing Newcastle because my dad lives there, and that's a really cool city as well.
Yeah, Newcastle is cool. To be fair, might have to go out there. Maybe Liverpool again.
Yeah.
Maybe everywhere.
Maybe Scotland, who knows.
So, from all the trips that we've had, is there any funny stories that you want to share?
Well, there's always something that happens on our trips. From landing in Rome and you losing your wallet within 5 minutes, to me having to go to Cuba on my own because your passport was out of date. That was our first holiday and my first time alone on a plane as well, which was a bit crazy. I had to go all the way to Cuba. It's funny now, but wasn't funny at the time.
I still found it quite funny. But...
Yeah, you were, didn't you?
Yeah.
And then I suppose one funny story is actually the Gucci trouser story. I love fashion, so to me, investing in quality brands is a good thing, because I feel like they can never go out of fashion if you go for something that's a bit seasonal. You can always find something, and there was some really nice trousers in Gucci.
Before you tell the story, I think it's worth knowing that I don't really wear designer clothes. And I don't really spending money on clothes. I don't spend money on clothes, really. I'm kind of someone who, like, if I wore I don't know, H&M River Island for the rest of my life wouldn't actually bother me. So this is what makes this story even funnier.
Yeah, we went to Gucci, and you just get sucked in when you're in those designer shops. Everyone's so over friendly, and the customer service is just on point.
I swear to God, the woman selling me the trousers like hypnotised me.
Yeah,
I
so
swear.
Connor had a little look for some trousers. It was for an occasion anyway, I think.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
We were looking for just some
My
really
21st
nice
birthday,
trousers. Yeah, like Connor's 21st or something. And he tried them on, and she obviously fitted them all and took them all in, which was amazing. Connor felt $1 million. She even tried to persuade him with some shoes, which you were very close to buying as well.
Yeah.
But luckily he didn't, or else I think he would have had a fit. So he had them all took in, and we were to go and collect them the following day.
In the shop, by the way, I was absolutely buzzing because I actually thought, wow, I look amazing.
Yeah.
And then when I paid, I walked out the shop and nearly had a heart attack. I started sweating.
Yeah.
I started
he was
sweating.
fine for about 10 minutes. And then when we got halfway down the road, he was like, oh no, I think I made the wrong decision, and started having a panic attack. Wanted me to call up and cancel it, even though they'd already started tailoring the trousers. It was just a nightmare. All over a pair of trousers. So
yeah,
that was quite funny.
Yeah,
to me.
I started sweating on the street and having a heart attack, just thinking, like, what have I actually done?
Yeah.
I would never spend that much money on a pair of trousers ever in my life.
Yeah.
How much? There's like 350 quid.
Yeah, I know. Definitely another funny story. It's always to do with Connor getting in some sort of situation. It is when we went to Cuba, and one of our excursions was to go to a sort of desert island. It was one off on its own. We had to get a little boat over there. It was part of the trip. And when we were on there, as Connor gets quite bored, he doesn't like to just sit in the sun, we saw that there was actually some horses and you could go on a horse ride. And typical Connor managed to pick the horse, which was absolutely mental. Kept running off. The tour guide kept telling him to slow down and stop running off with the horse, even though Connor just really couldn't control the horse.
Yeah, it was like he thought I was trying to go faster, and like, I've never rode a horse in my life, and this horse just had a mind of its own and would run off from the pack, and I'd be like bobbing up and down, like out of control on the horse, and I was just thinking, please get me off.
Yeah, that was so funny. I got the giggles, as I always do, and I couldn't concentrate then. It was hilarious.
Yeah, I didn't actually find that one funny until after, because I was actually scared what the horse was going to do to me.
Yeah. Another one which was quite good in Cuba again was when we decided to swim with dolphins. It's something that I always wanted to do. Connor did too. So we thought we would book that little trip up. It was actually part of another trip of Be a Millionaire for the day, and you got to go to a nice spa and do loads of other little bits with it. So that was the first one, was to swim with the dolphins. And like I'm quite good with animals and the sea.
I'm terrified of sharks.
Connor is terrified of going in the sea because of sharks. So I was the first one to go into the tank with the dolphins, and Connor was coming down really timidly, really slow. Was it okay down there? And I just sort of shouted, "Oh my God, there's a shark!" And Connor was slipping up the ladder to try and get out as quickly as possible, and the whole crowd of people were wetting themselves at Connor's expense again, which was really funny.
Brilliant.
I like that one.
Any more? There is about another 4.
Right, which ones are you thinking about?
Well, yeah, as you said, passport out of date, and that was a good one.
Yeah. Losing your wallet.
And the wallet. I actually have done that twice.
Yeah,
I did that in Magaluf as well, but with Magaluf that was with my phone.
Yeah, with your phone.
Yeah, and that was literally within 2 minutes of getting there as well.
Yeah. I can't tell some of them, because some of them are funny, but they're quite bad. With the pink eye. I don't know if I can tell that one.
Oh, wow.
That's not great.
Yeah, let's not tell that one.
Um,
Fuck's sake.
Yeah, I think that's it. That's one of my favourites, so but we'll save that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like you don't really get in trouble that much.
No, I definitely don't.
No, I feel like it's always me.
Yeah, it's always
Yeah.
you.
Why always me?
Yeah. I think that's about it, really.
Or what about another funny story? We must have been travelling for this because there's no other reason I'd be in London.
Oh, is that... Yeah, I suppose you... Oh, I just think of travel to be out of the country. I don't really think about it.
Obviously, there's domestic
I
travel.
suppose it's like, yeah...
When I travel
this would
to
count.
London.
Yeah, so Connor came up to London one day. Oh, actually, I think we were there together. I think we were going
We
to
were
see
there. I can't remember what we were
show
doing.
or
Yeah, probably seeing Lion
going for
King
dinner or something.
like that. Yeah.
And Connor isn't used to the London tube life.
I'm very relaxed, is what I
Yeah.
am, and very laid back, and like I walk slow.
Yeah.
I eat slow.
Yeah.
I just everything I do is slow motion. I'm very chilled, and Daisy, obviously where she works in London, is a bit more like go, and
I go with I'm the
Yeah.
London pace.
yeah.
And Connor's like the old Granny Cornwall case. So he's not as fast as me and isn't very aware of his surroundings and the timings in the tube. So we were running for the tube, just because when you're in London, like you just have that fast-paced lifestyle and you think you just really get into it and you want to get everywhere like quickly so you can do everything that you want to do. So there was a tube and I said, oh, let's run for this one so we don't have to wait. I ran for it, I'm on it. And Connor's only just realised that I've run for it, has to run to get on the same tube as me and gets his head stuck in the door.
The door of the tube, the shutter's shut on my face. Not a joke. And like they didn't open, and I was there trying to open the door like on my own,
But
so I couldn't get in. And she was just there looking at me laughing.
Everyone else was trying to help you more than me.
I come out and I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, that was lucky. But obviously it hit me in the face. And then Daisy looks at me and just starts like absolutely creasing up. And I'm thinking, what's going on here? Why is she still laughing? Like, yeah, it was funny, but like, what's going on? I looked like a barcode.
Yeah,
is what I looked like. I had two
around
black strips down my face. Oh, good times.
It was very funny. And then I just couldn't stop laughing for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
As always.
Getting your head stuck in a tube.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, always at my expense. Well, I think that's probably enough for the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
We obviously said got lots more to come with our guests, as we said, authors and business owners and travellers themselves. Yeah, so like we got so much to come on the show. Obviously you'll be hosting some of them and I'll be hosting some of them. Probably host some of them together. So just look out for us in the future, and I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope that we inspired you to go out and make good memories, and hopefully travel can change your lives too. Have a great day.
Do you wanna follow?